Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a kind of long-awaited video and I'm going to try to make it as short as I can. And that is, what are some of my recommended best books for foster parents and for adoptive parents, for foster to adopt parents, kind of everyone that's in that world. So I'm going to get right into it. But first, if you're new here, my name is Anna Leonora. Together with my husband, Jason, we are foster and adoptive parents in real life. Here on my channel, From the Fosters, we do foster and adoptive parenting life together, and we raise awareness for the foster care system and for foster parenting. So if any of that interests you, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel down below. While you're down there, don't forget to hit your post notification bell. Set your notifications to all so that you won't miss when I post any new videos like this, and so you can join my growing family here on YouTube. Like I said, I'm going to get right into it. I have quite a few books to go through. I am going to try to link them all down below. There's one book I will be talking about that I don't have physically sitting right here with me, but I will try to insert a picture and definitely will include the link down below. So I'm going to get right into it. The Holy Grail, if I can only recommend one book to foster and adoptive parents, that's going to be The Connected Child by Dr. Karen Purvis and Dr. David Cross. As you can see, my book is highlighted, it's tabbed, it's like falling apart. I've read it a million times. This is, it specifically says on here, it's for parents who have welcomed children from other countries and other cultures, from troubled backgrounds, and with special behavioral or emotional needs. This is the Mecca. If I could only recommend one book to foster parents and adoptive parents, it is this one. Again, I will link this down below. It has a ton of information about what goes on in your child's brain, and sort of some ways that you can work with your child on their behaviors, ways that you can help calm them. Dr. Karen Purvis is the one who came up with the TBRI. Dr. Karen Purvis and David Cross came up with the TBRI parenting sort of method, which stands for trauma-based relational intervention. And I have done that training several times. It's super educational. So that's something you can look into if you want some training on TBRI. But this is her like Mecca best book for anybody who is fostering or adopting. So that's the number one. The next one that you hear about a lot is The Whole Brain Child. This one is by Dr. Daniel Siegel and Dr. Tina Bryson. This is another one that just does a really good job explaining what's going on in the child's head and giving you some sort of tactics and understanding some strategies. Again, I'm the kind of person who I highlight and I mark pages and I write in books and I do all kinds of stuff. So this is another really, really good one. The Explosive Child is by Dr. Ross Green. This one is not specifically for adopted children or children in foster care, children from troubled background, but it is about children with big behavioral issues. And as we know, a lot of the children that come into foster care do have a lot of big behaviors. And sometimes they're very, very challenging for foster parents, adoptive parents, or even parents who just have explosive children. They can be very challenging to deal with. So this is another really good one that I have been actually reading recently. I'm still working my way through this one, but it's just a really good one to know that you're not alone if you have a child that is super explosive and has these big, massive reactions, big behaviors. So it's just another good one to have in your toolbox. Then I'm going to go through some books that are really less educational and more supportive. A good one that I was really, really obsessed with is Three Little Words. This is by Ashley Rhodes Corder. This was a young lady who was a former foster youth. She bounced around in foster care to several different homes. She did not get adopted until she was older, and it is her perspective, her story, her memoir, and it's super, super educational. It's really, really important as foster parents and as people who are planning on adopting from foster care that we listen to former foster youth and learn whatever we can from them. So this is a really good one. It is a tearjerker. It has a really happy ending. Ashley is, as far as I know, doing amazing now. And again, really happy ending, but it is so sad. And very enlightening. So this is a good one from a former foster youth. Again, 3 little words. Welcome to the Roller Coaster is a collection of stories of foster care from different foster parents. And so it's not like one cohesive story start to back. You can jump around. It has the table of contents. Each one of these is a different family's story. And yeah, it's just another good one to help you kind of get an understanding of different types of cases that can happen in foster care, different scenarios, different situations, because again, every single one of these is a different story, and some of them are very sad and some of them are very uplifting and happy, but that's just the way it goes. When you are planning on taking multiple cases and you're going to be a foster parent for a while, some of your cases are going to be really happy and uplifting, and some of them are going to be really heartbreaking and awful. So this is a good one, just sort of as a feel good, make you feel like you're not alone, but also to give you a good kind of wide idea of what your cases may look like. Instant Mom is written by Nina Vardalos, who was actually the actress in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I believe she was also a writer-producer on that movie, but she was the main character in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She struggled with infertility and ended up adopting from foster care, which I did not know about until I started looking up books. And I stumbled across hers, and it's a really good story. Again, it kind of goes through the entire background, how she ended up coming to the decision to adopt, and the sort of trials and tribulations, struggles that they had with their daughter, whom they adopted from foster care, and how she went from not being a mom to being a mom of, I believe she got her daughter when her daughter was 3. So from not being a mom to a mom of a 3-year-old overnight. So again, if you've seen Instant Family, which is one of my favorite movies ever, this one's called Instant Mom. They're not related, this book and the movie, but this is a really good read. And it's just nice to have like a celebrity representation, because up until I was looking for books on foster care, I had no idea that she adopted from foster care. I know Sia, the singer Sia, has adopted from foster care. I believe she adopted 2 teenage boys, but we haven't heard much about it in the news, right? And certainly I had not heard about Nia. I'm saying that entirely wrong. I'm so sorry. Her name is Nia Vardalos. I'm butchering that, but it'll be linked down below. This is another really good one, just to feel good, someone to kind of connect and share, sort of feel like your story is being shared with, right? The last one I'm going to talk about is not at all specific to fostering, adopting, or even parenting, but it is a really good book. Oh, it's not going to be the last. Actually, I'm going to go back. The one that I don't have sitting here in front of me, is called The Body Keeps the Score. Again, I don't have it sitting in front of me, so I don't remember who the author is, but I'll try to insert a picture here. It's not about foster or adoption in particular, but it is about how you may not consciously remember the traumas that you've been through, but your body remembers, and how that can manifest in physical changes in your brain and in your literal physiology. So that's a really good educational one, because again, these children all have experienced some sort of trauma, some more than others, but they all have experienced some trauma. So it's a really good one, because people will talk about, oh, if they're so young, they're never going to remember the ABUSE they went through. They're never going to remember being separated from their first family. They're never going to remember. And while that may be true on a conscious level, their body, their subconscious, their fight, flight, or freeze response does remember. And it does a really good job explaining all of that. So that's another really good one. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is, it's called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. Again, this is another one I have tabbed all up and I have highlighted and written notes in. This is a really good one just for understanding the boundaries you need to place in your own life. As a foster and adoptive parent, we can have a really hard time asking for help. We sometimes take on more than we could feasibly appropriately manage because we feel like we have to help everyone and we have to be there for everyone and we want to do more, and it can take a toll on us. So this is a really good one that I have read recently that just helps you to understand why boundaries are important, that it's not a bad thing for you to have boundaries. It's okay for you to say no. It's okay for you to say, I can't handle that, or I can't do that right now, and to do so without having to explain yourself. So this is one I recommend really for everybody. I think it's a great, great book. Obviously, again, I've marked it all over the place. But this is just kind of the last one in my toolbox at the moment. I am reading one more. I'm going to actually grab it over here because this is another one I found really interesting. It's called It Didn't Start With You. This one is by Mark Woolen. This is about inherited family trauma and how we actually inherit trauma from several generations back. So again, the trauma tends to run in family cycles. It's generational with a lot of these children that are in foster care. A lot of their parents experienced various types of trauma. Their grandparents experienced various types of trauma. And it actually talks about the science behind the genes that you inherit, how those genes become expressed due to the trauma experienced by various family members. And it's really very fascinating. They did a study with mice. I'm going to tell you about this real quick. Let me find it. They did a study with mice where in one generation, the mice were trained to fear a cherry blossom-like scent. So what would happen would be the scientists would expose the mice to the scent and then give them an electrical shock. So what they found in the mice that were being shocked is that the receptors in their brain devoted to scent actually enlarged. Their brain physically changed in response to it so that they could detect the scents at lower levels. And they also were able to identify some changes in those mice reproductive sperm, eggs, things like that. So things that would be passed on to their offspring. But what was really interesting was that those mice, the offspring of those mice and the grandchildren of those mice both were found to get jumpy and jolty when they were exposed to that cherry blossom scent, even though the children and grandchildren had never been exposed to the electrical shock. So there's no way that they could have known that consciously known that they were going to get shocked, but they inherited it from the ones that were being shocked. So I don't know if I explained that in a way that makes sense, but it just helps to explain that you may raise these children from the time they are born or from the time they are infants, very young, whatever it may be. You may be raising these kids, and it's the whole nature versus nurture thing. There is something to be said about nurture, but there's also something to be said about nature. And I just find this book so fascinating. I am obsessed with this one. This is the one I'm actually currently reading at the moment. So that's kind of just like a bonus that I'll throw in here. But anyway, I hope this helped. I didn't want it to be too long of a video, so I know that I went really quickly through all these books. Again, I'm going to try to link them all down below as long as I can remember and find links to them. I believe I did purchase all of these on Amazon, except maybe The Connected Child. I might have actually bought that one at a bookstore, but I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon. So I'll try to find the links and link them down below. As always, if there are any books that you used as a foster parent, guardian ad litem, social worker, anything like that, former foster youth, any books that you think would be helpful to foster parents, adoptive parents, leave those down below in the comments so that people can see. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. And otherwise, yeah, good luck reading. It's a ton of reading, but I swear most of these books I read super, super quickly. The Set Boundaries, Find Peace, I read in 2 days. Instant Mom, I read in maybe 2 days. The Roller Coaster, Welcome to the Roller Coaster, I think I read in a day. 3 Little Words took me about a week because, again, it's super sad, so I couldn't just like sit and focus on it. The Connected Child was maybe a week. And then The Whole Brain Child and The Explosive Child were maybe a week or 2 because, again, these are just super educational, so they're a little less it's super interesting, but they don't captivate you quite as much. But anyway, you don't have to read all of these. Again, if I could only recommend one, it would be The Connected Child. But these are the resources that I have found to be super helpful on my fostering and adoptive parenting journey. And yeah, I hope that you guys get at least a little bit of help from this. As always, until next time, go out and continue to shine your light into the world. I love you all. Bye.